Coming up after the break, we'll take a look at...
Pardon the interruption for a very important news update.
This is no holds barred. We go hard, we go harder. In the ring, on the mic, every shot is your holds barred. Feel the charge, feel the armor. Bobby Josh in your brain, turn it up, go farther, farther, farther. Theme hits loud, then the grips come off. Call out the card, call every payoff. Botches, legends, titles, and heat. Pay-per-view nights, run it back, repeat. They slam, we analyze. Move for move, every feud, every bruise, every pivot move. This is no holds barred. We go hard, we go harder. In the ring, on the mic, every shot is your holds barred. Feel the charge, feel the armor. Bobby Josh in your brain, turn it up, go farther. Turn it up, go farther. Turn it up, go farther. No script, just true. Every jab breaks through. From the bell to the brawl. Name the show. We want it all. 1, 2, 3. This is no holds barred. We go hard, we go harder. In the ring, on the mic, every shot is no holds barred. Feel the charge, feel the armor. Bobby Josh in your brain, turn it up, go farther. Turn it up, go farther. Turn it up, go farther.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast here on FTSN. I'm Bobby Melendez, joined always by my tag team partner, the Kimmelnator, Josh Kimmel. We continue our WrestleMania series with WrestleMania VII. Josh, my man, how you doing?
What is going on, peoples? Listen, we had a little shortcut or break of this talking about Hulk Hogan himself with the whole two-part series. So if you watched that, thank you so much. If you haven't, make sure you check it out. Some interesting insight from Bobby and myself. But yeah, man, WrestleMania, we're back on it. This one was the one that never ended. This one was long,
really.
brother. So
15 matches, dude.
First initial took place March 24th, 1991 in the Los Angeles Memorial Sports Arena. Was supposed to be in the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum with a capacity of 100,000 people, but didn't sell any tickets. Apparently the attendance was only about 16,000, and they kept on I had to look it up. They kept on plugging this, the highest pay-per-view buy of all time. It was actually down from last year. It was down for about 550. Oh no, it was a down 100,000 buys from last year's WrestleMania. So it's definitely didn't break anyone's records. It was lies, all lies, according to real statistics. So just want to get that out there. But Bobby, how'd you enjoy the show overall? Your thoughts, just over high level thoughts before we break down match by match.
Honestly, I enjoyed this WrestleMania. I thought it was a lot of fun. There was a lot of cool moments in it, but also the fact that actually we didn't hear from Jesse the Body. That kind of sucked, but we got to hear finally with with Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan, and what made them legendary. I love Bobby Heenan on the microphone, and I thought that was really cool. Obviously, we're going to talk about the 20-minute almost banger between Randy Savage and the Ultimate Warrior. I kept telling my kids they were watching that match with me today as we were finishing the show, and their kids were even saying, "Man, this match is going forever." It looked like it was going to end, especially after 5 elbows, and we'll get into it. But that moment at the end, which one of the greatest WrestleMania moments of all time, or maybe professional wrestling, Miss Elizabeth and Macho Man. So there were those type of moments in there. I got a kick out of Jake Roberts and Rick Martel, that match. I do love the buildup of that. We'll get into it. But the match itself, I was just kind of like, okay, I love the concept, but it's like, you could have, but anyway, decent enough. It was fun. We got to see the Texas Tornado, the British Bulldog. Very surprised by the Warlord. We'll talk about that. And of course, the ending, Sergeant Slaughter, Hulk Hogan, and that was the end of that show. So I know you ranked these. I know we're working on that before the show, so I'd love to find that out after we finish talking about this. So I'm really looking forward. But before we get into your rankings, how about yourself? What did you think of this WrestleMania?
This was across the board an okay show, just too long. Man, your kids nailed it on the head. That career versus career match between the Macho King and oh gosh, why can't I think of his name? It's right in front of me.
Ultimate
Macho
Warrior.
King and Ultimate Warrior. Holy crap! It just went forever, brother. Like, and it wasn't even like an AEW like banger match. It was just like is this gonna end? Is this ever gonna be over? That's how I felt regarding that match, which we'll get into it. Interesting concepts with Blind leading the block. Sure. The Nasty Boys. We got to introduction to them in Undertaker's first match at
That's right.
WrestleMania. Undertaker's. I was surprised by that because, again, I don't know WrestleManias that well in this era, so I was wondering when he was going to show up, and it makes sense he shows up this year and puts on a little decent match. Squash matches in between long drawn out matches. It was kind of weird the whole night. The whole card was kind of weird, but it opened up pretty quick. Pretty nice too. I actually enjoyed the opening matchup probably the most. This was probably my favorite match of the night, and it was the first one. It was the Rockers, Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty versus Haku and Barbarian. This was a banger, man. Like,
Yeah.
this was a good match. I love this match.
I remember we talked about the Barbarians in the last episode that we've done this WrestleMania 6, and when we paused our WrestleMania series after with the Hulk Hogan stuff. And I remember the Barbarian as a tag team partner for Haku. So and even in WCW with Meng, these two were a tag team. So it was really cool to see those two. And man, of course, Shawn Michaels, right? But you put these four together, they had chemistry. It was a fun match to watch.
Yeah, it was. And it's like you knew it was that kind of night where when you see someone come out, because I keep on saying this every single time we do one of these, it's shifting of the guards.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing the Rockers, we're seeing Texas Tornado, we're seeing British Bulldog, we're seeing Nasty Boys, we're seeing, Taker, all these new people coming in, and all the old dudes are the ones taking the pin. So the first like 3 matches were very predictable because it was the new person versus the old dudes, and the new people won because they should have won. But this match just showed out that, all these guys are awesome, including Haku and Barbarian. I was really surprised how well he moved and how good he was in the ring. But Shawn Michaels, we see why it's funny to see okay, think about this, guys. In 2026, guys debut like Obafemi or Ethan Page or whatever, and they're put into a main storyline right away. Imagine if Kit Wilson in 5 years becomes like the main eventer. But they don't do that anymore. You don't start off as a tag team, then work your way up to a mid-carder. No, you're just Braun Breaker from the start. You're just there. That's your spot now, and you're just propelled to that spot. Back then, you had to work your way up the card, work your way from a tag team from an unknown to a main eventer. It was cool to see. It's cool to see Shawn Michaels in this way because it doesn't happen anymore.
No, that's a great point, and it's cool. As I was watching it, I'm thinking to myself, man, you see it happening. You see how the crowd goes crazy when he gets into the ring and when he makes those moves and how he controls the match and how they do the hot tag and he's the one that has to run in, and you kind of see it building up to eventually what's going to become the Heartbreak Kid and obviously the greatest performer in WrestleMania history sooner rather than later. So I love that. And again, you bring up how the new guard is kind of coming in and, the British Bulldog, the Nasty Boys, and who had a fun match as well later on too with the Hart Foundation, but even Bret Hart, who kind of slowly but surely is another one who's slowly climbing up that ladder to become obviously the arch nemesis of Shawn Michaels down the line. The Undertaker, I told the kids this is Undertaker's first WrestleMania match, and it was just really cool to see. And you bring up a great point. It's kind of this was a lot of putting over the new guy. So very interesting way to go. The next one, Texas Tornado, the Von Erich, Kerry Von Erich. Am I right on that one?
I believe it was, yeah.
I think it's Kerry Von Erich, the Texas Tornado, taking on Dino Bravo. Not a very long match, and honestly, no disrespect. Rest in peace, Dino. When I saw Dino, I was kind of like, but really cool to see the Texas Tornado. Obviously, the Von Erich's famous wrestling family. I still have to watch their movie. I know their story. I know their story, you know, everything about it, but I've never seen the movie. I have not watched that movie yet. But a little quick match, not really much to talk about. Just cool, I guess, to see Von Erich.
Yeah. WrestleMania does not need to be 13 matches. And it was 13 matches. This could have been a match cut. This could have been saved for your television programming. It was just to get Texas Tornado over to the fans. The girls liked him. The men liked him. It was an over baby face, good looking dude, jacked. It was a showcase match. We don't really need this, but it was Dino Bravo's last appearance at WrestleMania. That's thank goodness. Thank goodness, brother, because we've seen him WrestleMania 1 till now, and I don't have to see him ever again. So thank goodness. Sure. Like there's not much to say. Texas Tornado 1. Why didn't I don't know their story as well as you do, probably. I wonder why he never made it to the top, because it seemed like he'd be a top guy. He had the look, man.
He did. He did. I don't understand, honestly. I don't you know, his whole family, though, all of them, they were great. Like it was Kerry Von Erich, and he died very young. You know, he was 33 years old when he died. But that whole family is kind of cursed, you know. I mean, you know, if you go back, but I think, didn't he beat Flair? I believe he beat Flair for the title in the NWA, if I remember. But I'm with you. He's one of those guys you look back and go, how the hell was he not? But again, he had the look, right? But did he have the character to pull it off? You know, NWA you did, because you were territorial. You know, you had the Mid-South, you had the rednecks and the families and whatever, where WWE was entertainment. Did you have the gimmick? The Warrior had the gimmick. The Warrior had the look. He didn't have the moves of the Texas Tornado. Hogan had the look. Hogan had the gimmick. Hogan had the mic skills. He didn't have the moves of the Texas Tornado. So the Texas Tornado had the moves. He had the look, but he didn't have the gimmick or probably the mic skills of those guys, or at least Hogan, because Ultimate Warrior, I know. But I digress. I'll tell you what, the match that impressed me the most, you talked about the Barbarian, the British Bulldog taking on the Warlord. He beats the Warlord in that match. Slick, the manager. I always get amused by Slick. But I was looking at Warlord as he came out, and I remember Warlord, but I don't remember him enough to care. But I'm looking at it and I'm going, gosh, you know, this is going to be, I see the British Bulldog. I'm interested in, I want to see the Bulldog. There's a famous rivalry going on with his daughter, with his wife, his widow, and Bret Hart, the brother and sister, because Bret Hart has said that British Bulldog, he had to carry Bulldog through that match. So I'm like, I want to see the Bulldog against the Warlord. I want to see how he does. But I look at the Warlord as he's coming out, and then when he's in the ring, I mean, he's jacked. I mean, this was before the steroid trial, and more than likely he was, but I'm not accusing him. So, but, you know, you look at him, you're like, short arms, you're like this, you know, and I'm going, oh, gosh, this is not going to be a good match. I'm not going to enjoy this. I don't know. You know, I'm going to see a couple power moves, and it's done. I was pleasantly surprised by this match. The coordination of the Warlord to follow through on moves. The British Bulldog put on a show. I really did enjoy this. But again, what surprised me, like the Bulldog did great, where I'm like, he was killing it. He was doing a great job. Like, he's a really good professional wrestler, and the fans love him. He had the gimmick and everything. Yeah. And so I was like, it makes me, I don't want to say doubt Bret Hart, because but Bret Hart has so many stories, but because I know how great Bret Hart is in the ring. But, you know, you look at it, you go, if he could carry a match with the Warlord, that tells you a lot. But then the Warlord himself, I was very surprised by the way he carried himself in this match. I thought it was actually a fun match to watch. I enjoyed it. Yeah,
it was power versus power. Story was Bulldog or nobody could break the full Nelson. So the whole match, Bulldog's trying not to get in the full Nelson, but he says he could break it anyway, and he eventually does, right? That's the whole story of the match, is he could break the full Nelson, and he does, and he lands one power slam on the Warlord after getting his ass beat for 30 minutes straight. 1, 2, 3, Bulldog wins. We're all happy. But yeah, I thought I don't like big men matches, especially if it's two big men. It's boring. It's slow. It doesn't work well. You have to be a special kind of talent, like today's world, like Brock Lesnar and Obafemi. They can do it. Bulldog and Warlord. They actually did the first 3 matches, held my attention pretty well. I think where I fell off on this whole card was during the Nasty Boys match. Like, I think because I didn't think the Nasty Boys were going to win, but I'm also thinking I'm going to already just transition to Nasty Boys versus the Hart Foundation for the WWF World Heavyweight or World Tag Team Championship. I was so shocked that they won this match. But I guess if you're going to start Bret Hart and his singles run, you need to have him drop titles and eventually head that way. But what a joke. The Nasty Boys. When I grew up, Bobby, they were a joke. I wonder, were they always a joke and they just won? Or was this their first WrestleMania, like their first big shot, and they were going to give them a chance? I never saw the appeal. I thought these guys were a job tag team my entire life. I'm surprised they beat that Hart Foundation, but it was a good finish. I will give them that. It was a really good finish.
That's what saved it. That's in the end. I remember the Nasty Boys. I remember what type of tag team they were. You know, you kind of remember them later on in WCW more. Followed Hogan a lot around and all that, but
yeah,
they weren't bad. They were fun. They were fun. Yeah, but I agree. They look like what you think probably a jobber type of tag. But they were a fun tag team, and I do like how it finished and. I kind of see it where it's going to kind of set off that whole. I was waiting for, even though I was waiting for like a Bret Hart turn at the end for him to kind of go like, because the way he kind of was looking around, not that he was doing it on purpose, but you know, with Neidhart kind of getting off the mat and you see Bret kind of go like this. I was waiting for Bret to kick him back in the head or something. I was didn't happen, but I could kind of see where this is kind of going at this point.
Yeah, and again, I don't know much of anything about if they break up, if they feud. That means Bret Hart and Jim. I don't know if they do. I'm sure they do because you're just saying that. Do they feud, Bobby? Just tell me.
Not that I don't remember. Honestly, I don't think so. Yeah. I don't think so.
So I wonder how this breakup works or how they just go their separate ways. But Nasty Boys with Jimmy Hart win the tag team champions. That was a freaking shock to me. But again, at that era. Who else was going to be the champions? Maybe they need a Bret Hart because wasn't Hogan like Hogan's back now, but pretty soon Bret's going to be the guy. Pretty soon,
yeah. This is WrestleMania 7. We know that WrestleMania 9 is the whole what we saw in the Hogan doc. That's when Bret Hart takes on Yoko. So we know we're getting to that point again. The Rockers, Shawn Michaels. You saw the hot tag. You saw him fired up. You saw the crowd going crazy. You see Bret Hart at the finish. Neidhart takes the dirty finish. So Bret Hart is still standing. You see where this is going. I think by next WrestleMania, I think we're going to see these two guys by this time separate. I think we might start seeing the singles run because Bret Hart, WrestleMania 9 against Yokozuna. So I'm assuming WrestleMania 8, we're going to see probably Bret Hart by himself. We're going to start seeing that because that's what I got from those two matches. The Nasty Boys going over it gives a reason for Bret Hart to say, okay, I lost the tag titles. Here I go my separate way. Marty Jannetty, as talented as he was in the ring, and girls liked him too and all that. He's not Shawn Michaels. You see it. Like he doesn't have the aura. He doesn't have the crowd, the pop, whatever. Shawn Michaels is not going to stick around very much. I think the turn is soon going to happen. Shawn's starting to look like Shawn. So I think that's what's happening here with these two matches. So the finishes make a lot of sense.
It does. The next match, oh my goodness, man. I don't care what anyone says. Unique gimmick match. I don't care what anyone says. This might have been, to date, the worst WrestleMania match I've ever seen in my entire life. This was boring. The crowd wasn't into it. I don't care what you can say or what you're thinking. Yes, the crowd was cheering when he was pointing, whatever. But the crowd wasn't into this. True story, I got up to go pee thinking, okay, by the time I get back, the real match should start. The real match never started. Like it literally, they were blinded the whole time. What a waste of my time. What a waste of your time. What a waste of Jake the Snake Roberts match. What a waste of Rick Martel. What a waste. This was awful. This wasn't watchable. People paid money and sat there for 15 minutes to watch two old men walk around the ring slow when they could see, clearly they could see, but they're pretending not to see. This match sucked. This match sucked, man. This match is one of the worst matches I've ever seen in my life. I could not believe they actually did it the whole way without taking the hood off. Unreal. Unreal, man. What a waste of talent.
So I will give this to this match. I will give the build before the match, the promo where you see his eye, they put the eye lens in there and it's all white. And I love that build. I thought that was cool. It should have led to a physical maybe a bloody stomach, like, full of emotion. I don't know how you make that type of build where he blinded him. Like, holy crap. Like, that's like, I love it. Like, I wish they would do that more where it looked like, oh my God, with Rey Mysterio, he had the thing over his eye, where here it's like, he takes the thing and you see his eyes completely white and he's, look at me. I love that build. If it was real, it was a great story. Like, that was a great build to get you interested in a match. And then here, let's go. I can't wait to see these two get their hands on each other. They barely got their hands on each other. I understand. Like, I could get this gimmick. Oh, it's a blindfold match. You got to wear that until you find your opponent. Whoever gets first takes it off, and then, now you fight. I think Bobby Heenan said it. They touch each other. Now they can take the mask off. And Gorilla, no. Can they do it now? He's putting the full Nelson on him. But Rick Martel is putting the full Nelson on Jake Roberts. And, and Bobby Heenan's like, he can take it off now. He said, let him peek. Let him peek. He goes, that's cheating. Who cares? Let him peek. But I'm like, yes, Bobby's right. What are we talking about? So I will say, though, my one pushback is the crowd did get into it. The crowd was wanting to see Jake Roberts, like, no, yes. And then, of course, you see he's getting closer. Also, he'll go, like, no, what are you doing? To be honest, I'm like watching. I'm like, okay, let me go do some things. Oh, they're still doing it. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay. Oh, here they go. Oh, okay. The most action you saw in that match besides the promo was the one where I told my kids and was like, oh, Josh not gonna like that part, was throwing the snake over, and then Rick Martel's going like this, and you see the snake stretch, and I'm like, God dang. And I hate snakes. I don't care. You show me a snake getting thrown, I don't give a damn. But that right now, I'm like, oh my gosh, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And the snake starts wrapping himself around Jake, and you can see Jake going, okay, let's get back out of the ring. It's over.
Yep, pretty much.
That was the most action in that one.
That match sucked. That's period. Plain blank sucked. The next match was not as bad. Not as bad. I mean, not as bad because at least we get to see something that at least I've seen a picture of or a video of. Undertaker's first WrestleMania match against Jimmy Superfly Snuka. The start of the streak. The first time he wins. Yep. First time we see Paul Bearer on WWE television, WWF television. The kids were genuinely scared. You saw that. That was cool. That's a good look. He did things that people weren't doing at that time. This was pretty good Undertaker. I enjoyed this Undertaker. I didn't see much of this Undertaker, and I can't wait to see where it leads in his next matches. But it was nice and refreshing to go, okay, now we're getting into the people I know and I grew up with. Undertaker beats him. Simple as that. What do you think about this Undertaker performance?
Yeah, it was cool because you're getting for the first time, at least for us, because we're not going like watching every pay-per-view. He comes actually shows up at the Survivor Series as Ted DiBiase's mystery partner in the 5-on-5 or whatever it was back then, the Elimination Survivor Series match. But this was old school Undertaker. I mean, my kids are like, why is he so pale? I go, that's what they did. I mean, my daughter saw that. She goes, is that purple eye like makeup there? I said, yeah, they put white powder. Little man, so it looks like he's dead. He's a dead man. I go, that's what he did. And he was so, I don't want to say stiff because you could tell how talented he was still back then. But he was meant to play stiff. He kind of fall over. It was okay. It was quick. It was to the point. Not a lot of selling. I mean, but you weren't supposed to. They kind of botched the ending there a little bit because when he came off, Jimmy Fly Snuka was so big, but he was so agile. He was so quick. He was going to jump. He jumped on the rope and he was supposed to catch him and then tombstone him. But what happened, he caught him. He's going to drop it. So he put him back down and picked him up and got him. But just started that dominant run of The Undertaker. And it's just crazy to think that, you think about the gimmicks back then and Undertaker looked cool. I get it. The kids were scared. It worked. But, you look at it now, if there's a guy who dresses like that today, he can't carry that gimmick. Nobody's going to buy into that. You got to be almost like kind of like serial killer vibe, kind of like The Fiend was. And, the fans kind of still get it. I think that's why, again, The Fiend, people always look back on The Fiend like, oh, man, they did this, they did that. It was such a great, such. It's like, but they misbooked them. And even he did it because he had a lot to do with the booking, I always say. The red or whatever, the red lights.
That's terrible.
You know what I mean? Like, I always love the Bray. Like, I get that. I'm okay with it. But like, you kind of went overboard where Undertaker was just right. Bray Wyatt, starting out with the Wyatt family, kind of like the Manson family. I was a better version. That was so freaking cool and perfect. Then when you brought in The Fiend, I get it. If you did it right, it started off good. When we start adding those red lights, that it kind of falls off for the common fan. It's still cool because you're like, oh, I like to see it, and you like the wrestler, but it's not the same. Undertaker, though, he got the fans to believe. He got even adults were into it. They're like, oh crap, this is so cool, the Undertaker.
Yeah.
You know, you get in, and then the way he evolved over time, and then we'll get into, and I cannot wait to see how WrestleMania 8, 9, 10, 11, and we keep going. We see this evolve Undertaker come in. It was just really cool to see because we get to see how his career starts up until the wrap up of it.
And we're about halfway into this thing. I'll tell you that. We're about halfway into this thing. We got about maybe, my opinion, 2 more matches that matter in the grand scheme of things. But we have a cross promotion Japan tag team. 2 guys I don't know. I'm not going to even attempt their names versus Demolition. Is that a new guy? That's not the same Demolition guy. That's a third member, right? Where did my big office looking worker go? That's a new guy. You know what I'm talking about, Demolition?
Demolition, yeah. You're talking
that's not the same guy, right?
I thought it was. Was it
no
Brian
way.
Adams? No, that was Brian Adams. Yes, you're right. It was a different one. Well, actually, WW2K, there's a third guy in the Demolition group.
Yeah.
So that's who that's at. That's what who that is here.
Yeah. Well, anyway, they lost. They lost.
Yeah.
I was so surprised. I'm like, who are these jobbers beating these guys?
That's what I thought. I was a little surprised. I was like, who are these guys? But okay.
I was like, all right, Demolition runs over. Cool. Like, and that's kind of my thoughts on this match. I don't care.
Yeah, I didn't really pay attention too much to it.
It's a filler match. I don't care. This next match at least had story, but what a finish, man. What a terrible finish. Big Boss Man, which I've never seen him as a babyface because in our lifetime, in the corporate era, Attitude Era, it was Big Boss Man, part of the corporation, doing nasty things to Big Show, right? Big Boss Man was always a heel.
Yeah.
He was a babyface here. And he's the everyday working man, right? He's redneck. I'm going to take that Intercontinental Championship from Mr. Perfect, right? And they have a decent match. They go on for a while. Mr. Perfect is awesome. Big Boss Man's telling the story about how he wants to just beat Mr. Perfect. But then it all ends in DQ. And Big Boss Man is so dumb. He's celebrating his win with Andre. But you didn't win the title, you idiot. What a terrible finish.
So when I saw Mr. Perfect come up on the screen, I told my kids, I said, this is one of my favorite in-ring performers of all time. Sit down and watch this guy in the ring. Because he's one of the best in the ring ever. He could wrestle anybody. You put him against anybody, he's amazing. And so I enjoyed this match. I really did. And Bossman again tells a good story. He's cool, and I prefer him as a bad guy over the good guy thing, but it worked. Here comes Andre. I think this is the very last time we'll see him. Obviously not as a wrestler, not a performer. His last match was that last, a little later before this. Comes in, makes the save. But I agree. The thing I'm going to remember the most was the finish, the disqualification. I'm like,
nope.
Okay. And,
dumb.
And he stands in the ring and they go, the winner by DQ, Big Boss Man. He's woo like this. I'm like,
what a moron.
And then later you get Sergeant Slaughter in a promo saying, you could win the battle, but you won't win the war. I'll keep the belt. All I gotta do is you have to hit, disqualified. I can get disqualified, or I can win by countout or lose by countout. And guess what? You'll win. But so it's like, how is Sergeant Slaughter, which again, Slaughter is so smart that he goes, but I'll keep my belt. That he's telling Hogan this, but Big Boss Man is celebrating. I won the match. Did you really though? Because you didn't get that belt, did you? Terrible. But anyway.
Terrible.
What's the next one we're talking about here?
Squash match. Why? Earthquake versus Greg the Hammer Valentine. This has to be Greg's last match at WrestleMania. He gets squashed by Earthquake in less than 2 minutes, I think it was. What a waste of all of our time. Earthquake. I don't know if Earthquake ever does anything in WWF. I'm sure he does. But he was already not mega over, but established as a killer last WrestleMania. So he needs to squash another legend? Not legend. I guess, is he a legend? Is Greg the Hammer Valentine a legend?
Yeah, I guess in regards of time, right? It's like, yeah, he's a legend, Greg Hammer Valentine. Not the caliber that we may consider a guy a legend, but he's a legend.
Either way, this was a throwaway match. I don't care. Again, like I said, guys, this last second half, I was losing interest because of all these matches, and they were just meaningless. And they went from this match to another squash match, dude. 2 in a row. So go ahead. Did you care, Earthquake? No.
This
Be real.
I didn't. I just saw the ending, and then he tried to squash him one more time. He rolls out, and that was it. So it's like, okay, good, we got out of that one. So,
yeah,
not too much.
Yep.
Not too much of it.
Sorry to disappoint all the Earthquake fans or the Greg the Hammer Valentine fans. But this next match, we get the Legion of Doom's first appearance at WrestleMania. I always liked them over Demolition.
Yes,
I always did, because they had a better look. Cool look. They did some cool things. They just squashed Power and Glory in 59 seconds. And it was quick, fast, to the point. I'm not so mad about this one because we haven't seen Legion of Doom yet. At least I haven't on WrestleMania. Besides the first, when I'm talking about the other match before Earthquake, we already did. So this one was fine. Keep this one. Get rid of Earthquake. This is fine. Established who these guys are, but again, not needed at WrestleMania. Could you imagine 2026 like having squash matches at WrestleMania?
Yeah,
it's kind of weird.
But I could get it if you're trying to put a guy over. If you're trying to make, let's say, Oba Femi, right? You put him again, like Brock Lesnar, they'll throw him against each other. Oh, quick finish. Oh, but you'll back go, a squash match? Well, yeah, you're trying to put over Oba. Now, I think you guys talked. I don't know exactly what you guys talked about. I wasn't able to catch it, but I think you guys talked about that on Thursday night.
Yes,
with Oba Femi, kind of like the challenge thing is kind of like being a little. It's like, okay, I get it. You see, kind of some. It's like after a while, it's like, let's move it along now. You can do it once or twice, but after a while, make it count. Are we holding on the Ultimate Warrior Randy Savage till right before?
Oh, did I miss that?
We skipped that one, so I was wondering if you were holding on.
Oh, I am so sorry.
No, that's okay. Sorry. I was figuring. I understand it's one of the longer matches, so I thought, oh, maybe we're holding off on that. It was between Undertaker and Demolition.
I totally messed up. All right, yeah,
it's all right. Don't matter to me. I'm cool. We can wait. I mean, it's
well, we'll get into it now then, because I really don't care about the Mountie and Tito Santana.
we got Virgil and versus DiBiase, and we got Santana.
Yeah, I know.
Which I agree with the first one. But in regards to Virgil and DiBiase, we'll just say that very quick because in Tito Santana, Mountie, whatever. But Virgil and DiBiase, first off, the count out thing, whatever. But DiBiase's so good. I think he is the one I come away with. Yeah, because I always had this notion in my head about DiBiase. Like, great gimmick, good talker. Didn't really much think of him as a wrestler. I remember watching him, but I just didn't appreciate it. Now that I'm an adult, I watch him. He's so good at telling a story. He's so good making people look good. And he makes Virgil look really good. Virgil looks great, by the way. Virgil, he's moving. He's, dancing with his feet. He's like a boxer. He looks in phenomenal shape. I mean, in today's world, he'd be perfect for this WWE. He's a little light on the punches, though, and then you can see there's not real to, but DiBiase is selling the hell out of this, and he looks so good. And Roddy Piper, with the leg and everything, again, just selling the injury, make it look as real as possible. I love, DiBiase kicking him at the leg and running, and I enjoyed that match. I did. I found it fun. I hate that he was counted out, but I enjoyed it.
No, that was a fun match. Roddy Piper made it fun. The count out works here because he got the win anyway, and there was no belt involved. It was just all pride, and Ted DiBiase let Roddy Piper cause him to lose to Virgil. So that was embarrassing enough. It was fine. I don't know if I can do WrestleMania without Roddy Piper, because even this one, he was barely in it. He had a very small role, but at least he was still there. The end was kind of cringe, like stand up. Oh, we're gonna stand up together, like that, whatever. But cool, like good for this match, good for Virgil. But you're right. If I was a alive back then, I was alive, but if I was watching back then, Ted DiBiase would be my favorite wrestler for sure. He's the best. He's the MVP of these last couple of WrestleManias. Okay. Macho King. I can't believe I skipped it. Maybe because it was so damn long. God, dude, I'm sorry. I was not a fan of this match.
Really?
I did not have fun. I was like, oh, it's over. It's not over. Oh, it's over. It's not over. Oh, it's over. What the what? Why? Why is it not over? That's how I felt this entire match. I don't know why. Maybe I was thrown off by they were showing Elizabeth, Bobby the Brain Heenan's like, oh, wait a minute, I see her. She's in the worst spot ever.
She's hiding then towards the entrance somewhere, like 3 rows back. Which again, you know what? Do you want to know though? That's what I say. Thank you. That's realistic. I am so sick of every time today. Oh, how did these people get tickets? How did they get a front row seat? They're sitting in the front row. The guy who wasn't supposed to be there, all of a sudden, he got a seat in the front row. Or she got a seat in the front row. Come on, dude. And then they're gone. Dude, you never saw them, but then they show up. They're in the front row all of a sudden, and then they're gone after. It's like, come on. At least for this, it looks like, hey, she got a ticket. She bought it. She's going to be there. This is his retirement, possibly. They've been broken up for 2 years. Here she is. She's here. She's 3 rows back, just sitting randomly in the crowd. And I like how Bobby Heenan sold it. Heenan went kind of like this. As Gorilla was talking, he just went. He's like, "Are you seeing that? I think that's Elizabeth." Like, I liked it. I didn't have no issue with that. I liked it. I
have no issue with it. But if you're talking about realistic, which I get your point, the whole front row thing. No one noticed her for 2 hours. What's going on, Justin? No one noticed her for 2 hours.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Or did she just get there? She just knew, like, oh, his match has started. I might as well go sit down now.
Probably, yeah. She's like,
no. Either way,
I get your point, but still, for me, I like because we see at the end, he's kind of like, "Whoa, what are you doing here?" And it's like, well, he never saw her because she was 3 rows back towards the entrance.
That's good. That's good. Good point. You know what? You turned me over on it.
There you go.
But yeah, the match that never ended. Never. And I knew who was gonna win this match. I already knew, but holy crap! Like,
well, it makes the beginning. Remember, Bobby Heenan said it at the top when Warrior came out. Warrior was walking. He's going like this, and Heenan keeps going. Why isn't he running? Why is he running? Because he learned his lesson at last WrestleMania when he had to go 20 minutes with Hogan. He was asking Hogan 5 minutes in, let's go home. Now you're going against the Savage, who is a lot more faster, and you're not going to take a breath with Savage. So what does he do? It made sense to me because I'm the same way. I was like, he's not running. He's going like that, and fans are grabbing his shit. He's getting pissed. You see him get off. He was such a prick in real life. But anyway, he's running and he gets in, and then you kind of see the match. Of course, you can tell he's burnt at the end. He's, breathing at the top. His cheeks are this big. And,
but you know what though? He went the distance, and Justin loved it, and you liked it at least, but it wasn't enough for me. It was too slow. I was getting bored. Throughout the match. I felt myself looking down at my phone. Maybe it's because I already knew the result. Because most of these matches, guys, I don't know the results. So if I know the result of a match, I do get bored. I get kind of tuned out. And I knew this result because it's just obvious. And it's something that we all knew it was going to happen I knew seen this scene a million times. So maybe that's why I was bored during it, Bobby. But I feel like they should have cut it off 15 minutes into it. We didn't need 30 minutes. I don't know how long the match was. I don't know how long it was, but it felt like an eternity. It felt like longer. And I feel like it should have been cut. But that's the theme of the show for me. 5 matches should have been cut. And it was a 3 hour and 30 minute show, man. 3 hour and 30 minutes, man. That's a long show.
It is. And I will say, though, I did really enjoy this match. Again, Savage proved in this match the type of wrestler he is, the type of professional wrestler he is. He can, like, for me, people will go off on Hogan about wrestling, but, I was saying how impressed I was with the Warrior match with Hogan, that Hogan was able to carry that match and save it. If you got to say that, imagine what Randy Savage is. Savage was a true technician in the ring. He was really good. And the way he carried him, it sold for him. And then also we talked about, this was really, I think, the first match that we really saw kind of the no-sell, quote unquote, the 2.99 second kick out where Savage goes up 5 times. Twice was enough. 3 times is 5 times is overkill. It's like, there is no way, legitimately, there is no way the Warriors should come out of that.
No, but he did.
I'm sorry. To me, there is no way the Warriors should kick out of that. Something should have happened at that point that should have got the Savage not to go for that pin.
He should have moved out of the way like he did Hogan's leg drop.
Yeah, at the final one, maybe roll out and then, right? I agree. But you allow it to happen 5 times. And I'm like, I know the ending of this match. I know where this is going. But I'm saying to myself, I don't remember 5 elbows. And I'm going, that's BS. That's overkill. I'm pissed. You do that to the Macho King, the Macho Man. The Macho Man. You can't do that to the Macho. And he kicks out, but good kick out though, right at the final, whatever, he does it. Savage sells it. Then Ultimate Warrior does his back and forth and over and under and all this other, and gets the Macho Man, hits him, rolls him over, 1, 2, kick out. And I'm like, yes, okay. But then they do the Roman Reigns Undertaker finish. Obviously this is before that, but Ultimate Warrior, they say they spears him. He spears him. He basically shoulder blocks him 30 times in the ring. Well,
times.
Savage keeps rolling out. Warrior, I can imagine going, you piece of shit. He keeps rolling. He come back, throw him back in the ring, does it again, rolls back out. I don't know if that was intentional, or just Savage saying, fuck you, keeps rolling. But then finally does one more time. 1, 2, 3. That's the finish. Warrior survives. He goes out, puts his jacket on, celebrating, all right, get out. Here comes Sherry, who,
oh gosh,
let me just say, Sherry, Sensational
awesome.
Sherry. I love Sensational Sherry, man.
Yeah, she's great.
She is so freaking good at what she did. Like, what a living, obviously not living anymore, but she's such a legend. And I love her as a villain. She was great with the Harlem Heat, though. But I love Sherry, man. She was so good at being fucking an ass. Like, she was so, she's screaming at the Macho King, kicking him. And then, the camera pans over to Elizabeth. It goes back to the ring, and then all of a sudden Elizabeth, who is nothing like Sherry in regards of in-ring, but grabs Sherry, throws Sherry out of the ring, and then she's crying. My daughter goes, my oldest one goes, it's funny they say she's crying, but I don't see no tears. Like, it's like, she's not that good, but and then, the moment, the hug, the embrace.
Yes.
One of the greatest WrestleMania moments of all time.
Of all time. I think that's why everyone thinks this match was so good. Because the ending was so good. Because it was. The ending, the reunion was amazing. Everything that led up to it, I wanted the match to be over. Maybe that's just me because I watched it this morning and I was tired. But every other match, or maybe I was just worn out because I'm telling y'all, it started out awesome. My favorite match of the night was the very first match. And it kind of just went downhill from there, in my opinion. But look at Warrior go. Look at Warrior, 20 minutes, brother, with Randy Savage. Good for him. Can we get into the main event?
Yeah. How about that opening? How about that promo by Slaughter before the match?
Yeah, the promo was good.
I'm like, Jesus.
The promo was good.
Break your jaw, brother.
During the entrances, I fell asleep. I woke up to Triple H saying, "Welcome to WrestleMania." I'm like, "What just happened?"
Yeah, he jumps to the next WrestleMania.
So I was like, "What is this?" I woke up and I had to go back and rewatch the match. And I was like, "Okay, I'm awake now." Because Macho King put me to sleep. I'm sorry. No, I should have stayed asleep, brother. I'm joking. The crowd was into it, dude. This was crazy. This was a hot match, man. You can't deny the crowd was into it. Hogan was over. The crowd was wanting to kill Slaughter. Ripping the flag I know. I listen. I'm not a national person. Like I'm not proud of where I'm from. I know that's people don't like to hear that, but like I'm just born here, brother. I didn't do anything to get here. So like the whole pride thing of the country, I've never understood that. But when he ripped the flag, I'm like, holy shit! Like, didn't he get in trouble? Like, what the fuck? You can just rip flags, like, because I know people are crazy about flags or whatever, but like, it's just a fucking piece of cloth, brother. But, but I mean, it is. But
I'm not proud. I don't give a fuck.
He didn't get any trouble, any backlash for that. Like, that's crazy. First off,
probably.
Second off, what an emotion. Hogan gets his ass beat.
Yes.
The whole theme is like Sergeant Slaughter knows I can do whatever I want. If I get disqualified, I don't care. I'm keeping my title. Yes. As long as I'm keeping this title away from you. So he was using chairs. The referee wasn't doing it. The referee was not disqualifying him. All Hogan needed to do was get beat up for 15 to 20 minutes straight, bleed everywhere, point at him, big boot, leg drop, 1, 2, 3, and Slaughter kicks out like right when the hand goes down in the match. Fun match though. I didn't fall asleep because I was bored. I fell asleep because I was tired. Mm-hmm. Fun match. Like this was probably one of the most fun Hogan matches up to date. I think this is Hogan's best match.
It was a lot of fun. I think Slaughter was so good at being a villain. He sold it really well. And I let me tell you, I never understood, was it Muhammad Hassan later on, years later? I don't know if you remember Muhammad Hassan. Mm-hmm. I thought that was such an awesome gimmick. I thought it was so cool because it's brought so much heat, but it was so much that even the wrestlers are kind of like, eh. And then, they got in trouble. And I'm like, come on, dude. Are we that sensitive? Like, can we just but they this tells you, first off, the brilliance of McMahon in regards of taking the opportunity of, I think it was the Iraq war at that time. Slaughter, who's supposed to be an American hero, joins up. General Adnan or whatever his name was. First of all, I love the part where he's going off in Arabic. You have no idea what he's saying, but you're just kind of like, oh, this guy's a bad motherfucker. I'm like, oh crap, watch out. And Slaughter's like, what he said, stand up straight, you maggot. And you're like, oh damn, Slaughter. But I love what he said before. He made his intentions known. He's like, listen, Hogan, he goes, I will get disqualified and you may have won the battle, but you will not have won the belt. He goes, I could get counted out and you would have won the battle, but you would not have won the belt. I'm like, I'm waiting for some guy to come out, one of those, the president, whoever the president was at that time in WWF or whatever, come out and go, you made your intention known. This is a no DQ match. I was waiting for that. Never really came. But the match itself, Hogan gets color on him, bloody, battered. He's selling it. He's freaking having a spasm in the ring. My daughter was like, he's spasming. I was like, yeah, he's having to see. But Hogan was really good at selling. I'll give Hogan that when it comes to stuff like that. But Slaughter played the ultimate villain. And Hogan did the job up until the time he had to finish the job. So I did, look, like I was like not really looking forward to this match. I knew I've seen it before years as a kid. And I was like, okay, I've seen this. I could probably skip it. I decided not to. I watch it with the kids. And I'm like, I'm glad I didn't skip this because it was a lot more enjoyable than I thought. It was one of the fun matches that I remember. And again, you talk about Earthquake. Why is he still going over like this? Well, again, these are guys that you're building up. Back then, Hogan was the Rocky Balboa. So you needed that ultimate villain. The Warrior, they did the good guy thing. Okay, but didn't really work. Warrior obviously dropped the belt to Slaughter. They did Macho Hogan, fun, but Macho was not that ultimate villain. Slaughter played that ultimate villain. King Kong Bundy, Andre the Giant, those worked for Hogan. Yeah. The Earthquake, if they got him over to a certain point, he could have worked for Hogan. I think DiBiase would have been great for Hogan in regards of the ultimate villain, the money, whatever. But the Undertaker down the line, if Hogan was still hot or lasted a couple more years, you could easily win. Main event WrestleMania, Hulk Hogan, the ultimate good guy against the dead man, just didn't get that far. But Slaughter fit that bill so well. And like you said, that gets you into the match. And then you see the way they carried it, where Hogan is getting his ass kicked through the match. And it's like, holy crap, man, Slaughter's no joke. We know that. I mean, He's physical. He makes it look physical. And then the Hogan win feels a lot more, what's that called? warranted. It was like, oh, he actually had to come back and fight for that win. So, the show, like you said, started off strong. There were some lags in between. I did enjoy the Macho Man match, but it finished strong. So I think that was what's good about this. Now, what I'm more intrigued with this show, I was left and I'm going, I'm gonna be very honest with you, Josh. I was saying, I wonder where Josh ranked this match, this PLE pay-per-view.
It's right down the middle. It's not as bad as WrestleMania 3.
Jack Tenay. Good. That's the guy I was talking about. I'm sorry, Josh.
Okay.
That was the president.
You're fine. So WrestleMania 3 is the worst one I've ever seen. WrestleMania 1's the second worst, and this is the third worst one. So it's landing in fourth place. It's right below WrestleMania 2, 4, and 5. It's just because there was too many squash matches. There was too many meaningless matches. But I will say that between the boringness, there were some good spots. This was like, again, Hulk Hogan's best match up to this point, what I've seen in the lineage of WrestleMania. So I'm curious to see what happens at WrestleMania 8. I don't know anything what happens. Don't tell me. Again, I go into these shows cold, as in I don't know any of the storylines or anything that's going to happen until I actually see the moment. I'm like, oh yeah, cool. I've seen this on clip somewhere. So I'm looking forward to the next one because this one kind of disappointed. I was excited. Why did we have a Mountie versus Tito Santana match? Why did we have a Legion of Doom Power Glory match? Why did we have Earthquake Greg the Hammer Valentine match? Why? I'm not into it. I'd rather have. This is the AEW versus WWE card argument. AEW puts on 14 matches and the show lasts 8 hours and you get 50,000 super kicks, 50,000 kickouts, 50,000 this, that, everything. WWE matches, you get 5 matches, but they're just spaced out. I'd rather have the 5 matches that are spaced out, personally, than the 14 matches. That's insane. It's hard to keep someone's attention that long. It's hard, Bobby.
The only thing I will say that I remember, and I had to go back and look, but I will say, not as much in the next one. I will say that. Tito Santana was a legend for sure. No doubt.
Yeah, but he lost to the Mountie in like 30 seconds. That's the problem. Like, what are we doing?
My son loves playing with Tito Santana in WWE 2K. He beats me with it. It's annoying as hell, but he loves Tito Santana, So that's one thing for sure. But no, the next WrestleMania 8 is coming up here. And again, we'll see who's grown. Where is everybody at this time? We got to see The Undertaker at this WrestleMania. Where's Bret Hart at this time? Is he still on the tag team division? I won't spoil it. Shawn Michaels, is he part of the tag team? Won't spoil it. Who's Hogan going against? The Undertaker, so forth. Again, looking forward. And does Greg Hammer Valentine make it to 8 straight WrestleManias? That's one of the big questions there. Do we get to see the Greg the Hammer show up at the next WrestleMania? Josh, what do you got going on, man, with Real Talk Wrestling and Fantasy Now Plus?
Yeah, man, Fantasy Now Plus is kicking into full stream. We are live every Wednesday at 12 here on the Finstock Sports Network. You, Justin, and myself, we talked about hills we're going to die on, like our biggest fantasy predictions that we're willing to die on. If you want to watch that, make sure you check us out. Also, Real Talk Wrestling was a good, fun show with Clutch and myself this week. We talked about the Open Challenge. Has it killed Obafemi's run? We talked about Danhausen, how we liked that match with the at Backlash. I actually enjoyed that match. It was a fun match. So get off all y'all high horses. And we talked everything about Raw, man. Things are going crazy over there on Real Talk Wrestling. Chris thinks he's on the Roman schedule. Pretty soon, Roman's going to ask TKO for the Chris Koffler schedule, as that guy shows up once a month now. Where are you at, Chris? Where are you at? Where are you at, Bobby? Dolphins? H-An? There's only Dolphin left.
Yeah, the Dolphins extended H-N. Now we wait on Jordan Brooks. We wait on Aaron Bird. The Dolphins extend them. I'm excited they brought in they extended H-N. Again, setting up that foundation for years to come with this new regime in there. Needed to be done. I'm excited for that. I think I told you guys on the show there, I peeked in there while working and listening to you guys talk. First off, if you guys play fantasy sports, those who are tuning in, whether before or after the show, you play fantasy football, tune in to Fantasy Now Plus. First off, they're live almost every day, whether on FTS and Escher or on Fin's Talk Sports Network, but also on Fantasy Now Plus YouTube channel, where you'll have additional content, I think shorts and other things like that. So make sure you check them out. They know their stuff. But I'll tell you now, if you're drafting, I'm going to say right now, the hill I'm dying on, draft Devon Aitchen early. Don't be afraid. I'm just going to say, Josh may say I'm wrong, and I'm okay. He's the expert. But I truly believe Aitchen, the weapon he is, the new offensive line they've got, the thing about running the ball. And then when you're done with Aitchen, turn around a few rounds later, not very early, but don't be nervous taking Ollie Gordon not too far down the line to be one of your backups, because he's going to be another focal point of that offense down the line as well. But yeah, we got that. Fitz Talk today. We'll have a special guest this Thursday. We got East 10th Street Boys on Wednesday night. And of course, the No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast. We next Saturday, 5 p.m., we'll be talking about WrestleMania 8 as we'll get to continue our run here. And again, shout out though to Josh and the FTSN crew, as we have now broken, of course, over 4,000 subscribers. We're at 4.3 thousand right now, 4.325. So congratulations to the team and everything, everybody and the viewers. We appreciate you guys. If you're new to the channel, if you're watching No Holds Barred, you watch any of our content, let us know where you're watching from. Don't be afraid to make comments, even if you think we're wrong. Josh can handle it. I can handle it. We're not, you're watching Josh on Fantasy Now Plus, and he's telling you to draft Drew Lock in round one. You want to call him an idiot? Well, he's telling you to do that.
That's who you come up with, Drew Lock.
I had to think of somebody, mediocre or worse. So if he's telling you that, tell him you're an idiot. He can take it. I can take it too. But let us know. Say, hey, I think you're an idiot from Memphis. Awesome. Thank you for watching from Memphis. You're a douchebag from Canada. Thank you, Canada. We want to know where you're from. We appreciate you guys. Right, Josh?
That's right. And shout out to Regis Philbin, by the way. I don't know why I thought about that. He was on WrestleMania. This WrestleMania 7.
Alex Trebek going, thanks, Jim. It's Gene. It's Gene. I laughed. I did laugh out loud.
I think that was improv, because he messed up his name.
He did. Yeah, he said Alex Trebek, my close personal friend. So yeah, thank you, Jim.
Go AEW. Listen, Maria, we ain't talking no AEW today on the stream. This is a WrestleMania stream. Are they live tonight? I'll be watching Ronda Rousey facing Gino Carano tonight on Netflix. So that's where I'm heading after this, Bobby. My prediction, Ronda makes her tap within 30 seconds.
Oh,
let's all go home early. I'm tired. I'm you guys think I just hate on AEW for their long shows? I don't want to be up till midnight watching UFC or whatever this is. I'm going to watch. Or end it early, 10 o'clock. We're good to go.
Gina's going to pull off the upset. I'm going with Gina.
Sure.
Rousey. But anyway.
Sure. Wrap it up, Bobby.
All right, guys. Thank you all for tuning in to No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast. I'm Bobby Melendez. That's Josh Kimmel. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time, next Saturday, WrestleMania 8.